Okay, so it's only like 4 o'clock in the morning. I did not want to wake up at all. I swear to God. The Archon, like, I have not had so many knives fly at me. I just can't even believe it. But I'm constantly like, fuck you guys, fuck you Archon, like all the time. It's all the time. It's like fuckery, and still waking me up all the fucking time. And I don't know if it's something with the vibration or whatever, but like I'm in other worlds, and it's like instantaneous. And then she keeps pulling me out, and it's like God, and it's crazy because I thought this when I was a kid, and I would ask people all the time, like, what do you think dreams are? What do you think about dreams? And I had this guy that I went out with for I don't know. I think we were boyfriend and girlfriend for a couple months or weeks or something back when I was in my 20s. And he was into dreams. He was reading these books about dreams and stuff. So we discussed like what dreams mean. But a lot of people aren't interested in stuff like I would find interesting. But I mean, even a lot of people will be like, well, I don't dream. Or what was that? Another one. I don't know. More recently, though, people are getting more interested in all that stuff again. Like it was already a movement. The with awakening is, and I'm super congested, and and I'm sneezing my head off. And this fucking these rain thing, I don't know. It's got to be something that's sprayed. Then they wash it down on us, and so it's just like one after another. And it's like, oh my God, this deep sneezing that I keep doing. I've never sneezed so much. And this congestion and stuff is like, fuck, man. I cannot wait till this shit is over. Like that's real. Like I don't. Like that's still really happening. We're still getting chemicals sprayed on us. So, um, so where was I? The oh yeah, because there was somebody in the comments or something, and they were saying like they in the because I was talking about these people who are. It's just so funny because like when you've been awake a long time, then you I mean, you have this same attitude. Like they wake up and they start having the same attitude, but you had it, years ago, so you have gone past that. And but they, like think people are crazy. What's going on? Why can't they hear what I'm saying and stuff? Like they have to go through this whole thing, and a spiritual understanding will help you through it because then you'll see like as a soul, it's like the horse, the soul has those visors on. It's not supposed to see this. It's not supposed to see something because it's important to you. Like, it's so important. And then you're like, come on, what's wrong with you? It's like, I don't know what you're talking about, because they are on their own. And that's part of our journey. Those of us who woke up sooner and stuff, it's for us to learn how to calm ourselves. I mean, probably a lot of you guys are like being kind of neurotic, intense. What's going on? Looking around. What's happening? What's happening? And so we see first, and then it's like, but as a part of this evolution of man, it is like, well, you don't go with your impulse. You learn how to control your impulse. Your impulse is to panic. Then it is, oh, okay, I'm here to learn to calm myself. Okay, so how do I do that? Because this is some fucking panicky shit. And it's a process. And we all have a certain amount of time we needed. Like, I needed more time. Well, I don't think it was just like I needed more time. I also think that it was in my programming, certain things I was supposed to understand because it's supposed to be, I will help other people understand certain things, is how I take it. It's not like, anybody's better than anybody else. It's just what you were programmed to come here. It's like you have a purpose, and it's programmed into you. And so you got to get in touch with you in order to find that purpose, to run your program that is your program, not the program that they want to keep you spinning out on. And so the sometimes I just have no idea where this is going. It's so funny, even this morning, because I went in, I was going to go take a shower because I'm going to go to the food bank this morning. And I was like, oh, I'm going to take a shower and put on some real clothes, get on my loungewear. And so then I went and I was standing in the mirror. I was like, your hair looks good right now. It's like, fuck, you don't need to go take a shower. It's so funny because you got all these voices and you do have ones that will fuck with you like that. You could look all hot, probably, but this shrinks it. Like when it's in the bigger picture, I was like, oh, that looks good. That looks good. And so, anyways, when I got into this, it was like, oh, it doesn't look that damn good. So, and then I was like, fuck it, we're going with it. But, there'll be all this conversation and stuff that is going and stuff what is being said in your head. And it's just funny once you can figure out how to recognize the different voices and stuff, and you can really participate differently in the conversation instead of just being overwhelmed by the voices in your head. And then you just are really focused on the ones that are mean. They're so mean. And, but that's when you learn to love yourself. That's letting go of that dark energy that's there, because they are mean. They're mean. And they throw knives at you all day long. So anyways, especially, I don't know. To me, there's so many near misses with knives. It's crazy. It's so crazy. And especially because knives is a huge fear of mine. Like, I don't have sharp knives. That is one thing. Every time anybody comes to my house and stays and they're cutting, and they're like, oh my God, your knives are dull. I'm like, yeah, I know. I like it that way. I don't like sharp knives. And I think that there's certain things that when you are murdered and you have that memory of, because it's not just like you replay this memory and I can remember. It's like an internal memory. It's like, inside of yourself. Like when I was a little kid, and before I ever went to that psychic who told me, but I knew that those marks on my stomach were something. Those birthmarks on my stomach. I knew that they were something, and I would look at other people and try and see if they had them and stuff. And the other day, this guy did this video, and it was horrifying. It was off of a cruise ship or something, and they threw a bunch of food over the side to see what would happen. And it was immediately just tons of fish. So many huge, all sizes you could see, all these fish. And the guy who's doing this video, who's like, yeah, this is what you need to see. And think about these people, like the guy who jumped off the cruise ship, who was young, and all his friends are just like, ah. He goes instantly, and it was dark, and it was black, and you wouldn't be able to see anything, but instantly all those fish would be biting at you, and you wouldn't be able to see anything. You wouldn't know anything what was going on. That's the thing that freaks me the fuck out, man. To such a deep degree, like I can't watch those movies. When they start going into open water and stuff, there was one I was watching, I was having such horrible anxiety. It's horrible. And it is, you go into dark open water, fuck that. And so, I had these certain fears. And even when I was a kid, I would, because my dad was, back then, it was just different. It was just different. And, like say how kids go to soccer now, like we were go out and see, I'm starting to take deep breaths, go out and like we would spend the weekends learning how to water ski. So I could do stuff like that. And it's so funny because I couldn't do other sports like volleyball or something. My arms were, but I could ski. And but it was kind of like, your dad making you, and everybody's out there and you better do it right. And then having this uncle who was fucking, two uncles who ended up being like these fucking champion. One of them was, but the other one was the jump out of plane. He was good at every fucking thing, and always like, so it was like role model. And I want to be that good. I want to be able to do that, And Like, I want to be able to go on one ski and slide into the beach and stuff. So anyways, uh, every time when I would be down in the water, all I could see was just the darkness. And it was so overwhelming to me. I would feel so panicky. I would start pulling my legs up. I would start panicking and thinking, oh my God, there's something in the water. Someone's going to get me every time. And I've been eaten by more than one animal. I'll tell you, I think most of us have been eaten. I mean, just think about how it is now. Like, what do? We eat animals and we're supposed to be intelligent beings. So, and then just the fucking slaughter of all that, just is a lot, man. So, fuck, it's like it is like that. Like the TV has this, oh, you see that? I don't know if you could see, but it was a lot of like lightning. It's like what it feels like in my brain. I got to try and it is a mastery to be able to, I was thinking about that too this morning. It is a mastery to be able to zoom in on a thought, zoom out. And it is like this, where there's a lot going in there. And it's like, look, there is a lot. That's why I'm all over the place sometimes. It's like, look, I'm over here, I'm over there. I was like, I'm sure, but some of those people too, like Bashar or whatever, they're like, is talking to one person. They're just talking as far as they know, because that's what they say. They're talking to one person. And I don't feel like that. I feel like there's tons. There's like a lot. I feel like it's more like you open yourself up to a room of people talking or something. It's like the universal mind or something. Maybe it's like what they call Christ consciousness, but it's still all those people, like, even when they do that, they're like, oh, I'm going in, I'm talking to God himself. So I don't know. To me, it's a lot, and there's a lot of things going. So anyways, I guess I'm working on my mastery. That's why it's been so many years. Like it's so to think about, like, I'm on my 4th year. So, okay. So, let me get back to where I was. The lightning, going back further than that, myself, oh yeah, in the water, in the lakes, and feeling that overwhelming from the dark water. And I had no idea. And I was, and at the same time, I couldn't sleep at night, because at night I was going and being eaten to death by this tiger. And when you have these dreams, these aren't just like dreams. These are like past life, like you're reliving something over and over and over. And it's horrible. And then especially when people don't know, like if kids start saying that shit, like all these videos I see of these people talking to their kids or trying to talk to them about past lives and stuff, they would have very different conversation with me. And I'm trying to open this up so more people can see and have these different conversations, because yeah, when you go through it, it's like rough. And if you had people saying like, well, that's your past life, let's see if we can try and see what it is that you need to remember or let go of, so you can let go of this dream so it doesn't keep haunting you like this. It's different conversations we'd be having with these kids once we become more spiritual. But right now, we're a bunch of artificial phony asses that don't know what the fuck we're doing but fight with each other and separate. Oh yeah, that was another thing too, with it was a video I just saw, and it was 3 rules to live by. I think Anthony Hopkins is saying them or something. And I shared them, but I put them on yesterday's video. But I'll try and get them and put them on this one today. But but it's stuff that I have been saying. And okay, wait a second. Let me just go back to my own self in the water. And so in the water, and having this horrible, deep, deep, deep fear of open water. And having, like, my dad would be turning the boat around, and it would seem like it would take forever. It was so I just was sure I was going to be gone in the water every time. It was so horrible. And then once I started realizing that there was water moccasins in Lake Dallas, and that's where I was learning to ski, was Lake Dallas. It's it used to be a big ass lake. Who knows? Now it could be fucking the whole, with all the floods and then in the drought. That was probably, I don't know. It used to be really big back when I was a kid. And then, and it seems like it was segments. It wasn't, maybe it had like waterways. It wasn't like river connecting it. It was big, but it was big sections. And so, even back then, there was water moccasins in it, like in a nest of them. Somebody was skiing and then went through a nest and got bitten and killed by a whole bunch of them. So that always panicked me too. And if I would say something to my dad, well, he could see those in the water. He doesn't go up by where the water moccasins are. Like, oh my God, so much trust you have to have in an alcoholic, like somebody who is constantly, but you got to trust them. It's like, oh God, life is hard. So hard. It's hard from the fucking get, like when you think about it, you're being tested all the time. I saw somebody say, something about, in life is about what you do when things are going bad. And that is, that's what you are here. It's not to, make a God like you or the devil proud of you. It is so you yourself can understand yourself, so you can see yourself. And so just remember, it's you, and it's haunting if you don't remember yet. Yeah, going in and facing yourself and is not fun. So, anyways, but the past life thing. So, the different things that happened that in the dream thing too. But these dreams that I'm having right now, I think this is where it all started, was the dreams I was having right now. They are like going in and like seeing lessons. It's like going in and watching. It's like watching a quick movie of somebody's life, only it's like you in the room watching and learning. So then you learn from their experience. And it's weird, but I keep having these and having these and having these. And so did I finish about that past life stuff? So, because your past life stuff, it can come in dreams, but it's all different. There's all different kinds of dreams. I've had dreams where, like, I'm in a class being taught stuff. And not a class where all of a sudden you're naked. No, like a real legit class. I've had ones where I'm before the council. I've had ones like where I've been like, okay, we're not dreaming. We're not just going into some place in our mind running movies. No, we're going out of our bodies and we're going places. And I don't know, how it is that there is like our bodies, because of the entanglement with our soul, like our bodies is storing information or watching it or something somehow, because it's all these states of consciousness. So it's how conscious you are of what you're doing. And that's why we're trying to learn to pay attention to ourselves, so we understand ourselves. Oh, I remember, because it was like when I was saying about waking up. Like, there's people, who have been awake to all sorts of things throughout. I've heard people say, oh, I've been awake since I was a child. Well, to some of the things, like, to me, I've been spiritual since I was a child. And people are just waking up to that. And so we all have different things, that we had total awareness of. I don't know about, the one person who was saying that they had been awake since the 80s. I don't know if they had the awareness then of the media manipulation and the, like, even in the movies, like, it's so crazy. Watching old movies and knowing, like, it's so crazy. But the manipulation and the control, like, I mean, there's a lot to wake up to. Like, all I mean is, like, if they were awake to all that stuff for 40 years or whatever, like, oh my God, how fucking annoying. Like, I would totally have to go be the guy out in the forest by himself. Like, I couldn't have dealt with people. Like, I was definitely a part of the rat race. through, you know, it's like a certain portion of my life, but I swear to God, I heard somebody telling a story, and it was something about when they were a kid. Oh yeah. So he was a kid. He was like 16 or something. Because I was already having a lot of crazy experiences. So he was 16, and I had been having him for my whole life. So, but his first thing was, I guess, when he was 16. And he was arguing with his stepdad, and he said some really rude shit or something. And he went in his room, and then he felt this dark energy take him over. And it scared him, and he ran out of the room, and he told his dad or something. I don't remember, but it was his first time where he realized like there's some sort of entity. I don't remember if he saw something. I don't remember the whole thing. I can look for the video if I haven't shared it already, because that would have been one that I would have probably heard and shared in the middle of the day, but it would have went on in the middle of the day. So anyways, so whatever had happened, you know, he realized that there was spirits or something. There was something, and he could feel the sense of evil or whatever, like how we perceive it as evil. But really, it's like this emptiness. It's like this dark energy, and it like feeds off of you. I know everybody's always scared of like devils and stuff like that, but it's an energy. It's like a darkness. It's just this dark energy. It doesn't have, it's like the blob or something. It is just all of the bad feelings that everybody's ever had or something. It's like, that's what the dark energy is. It's like this vacuum. It lives off of, you know, whatever you think of as darkness, like mad, sad, angry, bitter, resentful. So it's all those things, like and it isn't so much a big giant blob because it's like segmented off. It's like a lot of dark energy around. And I have talked about this before, that I believe so many kids go through stuff, and that's when they start getting dark energy attached to them. And that kid just had the awareness of what was going on, but it seems like there was more. Like it did start talking to him or something, but it will. It's like it like is an introduction or something. It talks to you. It's a telepathic communication type of thing. So it's different than what you think of like, that's why I said you got to learn how to communicate. And so it's different. You know, sometimes like I will talk in words, and like but it's like almost like spelling it out. You know, it is more of you talking feelings and understandings and sharing information. So I don't know how to explain it, but it's different. It's not like you have to sit there and talk and like type it out and tell them. You know, it's like this transferring of information, just like how you have thoughts. Only you have an awareness that your thoughts aren't in here, that you are in communication with the higher mind. And so the so the dark energy, I had thought, you know, attaches to kids when they're little. And so it starts like holding on to trauma and keeping people upset or sad or whatever. And so that's why I said most people have got this dark energy that's been with them for so long that they're so comfortable with it that they don't even recognize it. Like they think it's just them. It's just a part of them. But it's parasitic. That's why this cleansing. But there's a cleansing of your soul. And so micro, macro, like you have to clean the mind, body, spirit. And so this cleansing of your soul is you have to question yourself and recognize your own, you know, your own bitterness, your own sadness, your own rejection, your own behaviors, how you treat people. Like there's so much stuff that you need to start understanding about yourself and recognize about yourself. So that is You know, that is the evolution of you, is the recognition of what is you. And so then you, that is the cleansing, is to let go of that dark energy, but it's at home with you. Like you're very like symbiotic is what I'm hearing in my head. You're very close with this energy. It feels like it's you, but I'm telling you, once you let go of this stuff, you feel lighter. You feel lighter. People's auras change. You know, it really does make a difference. It really is something that is not you, that is attached to you. And so you know, cleanse your soul, and that stuff doesn't have anywhere to go. When it's trying to tell you, you know, to hate yourself or be a bitch or whatever, then you know, I'm told, no, I'm not going to do that. And you start recognizing that because it will do that not to just be an asshole, but it's like to keep you to themselves. It's like it doesn't want you to make good relationships. So it is a saboteur. And so you have to, you know, recognize that internal dialogue and stop yourself and question yourself throughout when you notice that you have a lot going on. And so many people try and shut their minds down and they don't like it all and stuff. And it's probably because it's overwhelming, because there is a lot going. But the more that you just slow yourself down and think things through, the more that you, I would think that would relieve more anxiety. But, anyways, as the people though, wake up, like everybody will start figuring out, like we don't have these conversations really going yet. Like I'm sure they're just getting started in places. And it's annoying, I swear, to be like awake and talking about this stuff for years, and then you see these people wake up and they say it like, and all these people who are waking up with them are like, "Oh my God, you're a genius." It's like, oh my God. But you know, it's like, especially like, that's one of those things I can't do anything about, censorship and stuff. I mean, they're taking away my followers every day. They're taking, my followers are going the opposite direction at this point. They're no longer going forward, they're going backward. They take away views, they just hold my videos back. So, you know, it's out of my hands, the stuff I'm talking about. But it's frustrating, and yeah, when you see somebody else say something that you've been fucking saying for years. So, but you know, that stuff, you know, that obviously, or some kind of lesson or something for me to get over or let go of, or karmic cleanup or whatever. So that's how you got to go with the flow. You can't fight it. You can't make something be, you know, you just got to go with the flow. And so but the people waking up, how, you know, especially when ones that have been awake for like so many people. Well, I woke up in 2020. I woke up to some stuff in 2020, but you know, I was already awake to all the stuff that they're talking about they woke up to. So that's why I'm like, the awakening is so different for everybody. I mean, the awakening for so many people is them just realizing that they're spiritual. Like that is what's so trippy, is like so many people are just realizing that they have a soul, this is a spiritual place. And so you know, it's all different levels of what we wake up to and how we see things and perceive things and stuff. So but all these people who wake up and then they think like, you know, they've been awake so long and these other people are so stupid. It's like, there was a bunch of us that were awake before you, sitting there thinking that about you. So you just got to be like, you know. And then luckily though, for those of us who have been awake for a long time, then we see, you know, what's happening, because we've seen people just keep waking up, and we start noticing how they wake up and what's happening and the things. And then you see, oh, it's all different things, and it's what matters is something about their life. It's not, you know, what wakes me up doesn't wake you up. It's what wakes you up is supposed to wake you up. And everybody will wake up when they're supposed to wake up. And so many people are so mad. Like, they're ready to throw people off the fucking ship, man. And it's like, dude, we haven't even had the pole shift. That's the awakening. That's when it's going to be like the lights come on. Like have all this stuff like the wobbles, like we're in the wobble leading up to whatever is going to happen. And it's got to be getting close. Like there is so many signs. Like, and just the weird stuff. Like there's so much weird stuff. There's so many signs that we're about to shift. And that is when the real awakening occurs. I mean, some of us who think we're awake now is probably even going to be more awake. Like there's going to keep being these shifts that are going to, ripple out and have these big changes, these big occurrences. Confirmation. And so so there's nothing to worry about with the people, and you can't force them. And then that is your own anger and resentment, that you would get mad at somebody because they don't see what you see, they don't understand things the way you understand them, which is very interesting too, is because I keep hearing this conversation go, because Eminem came out strong. He came out with he came out spitting, and so he on this one thing, because I heard this guy doing this breakdown thing about when he was saying about the SEC or FCC won't let him be, and they're trying to interfere with what he says and stuff like that. So talk about freedom of speech all this time ago, 20 some years ago or something, where he was talking about that. And, he was going against the powers that be way back, but I don't know if he got taken and cloned. I don't know if this is the real guy and he just pretended to become docile and just kind of left the stage for a while. I'm not sure. I guess we'll see, because there was times where he was in interviews and he would just do those weird stuff, but it could have also been MK Ultra, and maybe he got away from all their stuff and so it kind of wore off. I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff. Like when you go listen to these people do these breakdowns, my stomach's growling. I have this cup of tea I'm going to grab in a sec. But so he is, now they're saying, he's going to start saying a whole bunch of stuff, and is trying to get people's attention because he's about to spill a lot of beans on things. And because, you couldn't keep him quiet before. And so he's saying this in these songs or whatever, and these breakdowns. And, so, hold on, because I keep getting, I need to turn this off. This thing is fucking too much, too. So, he, oh yeah, okay, so in his personality, okay, so when you go through these different segments in time, what they've divided up into generations and stuff, you go through these different segments of time. Oh yeah, I want to talk about that one too. Okay, that song. Okay, so I gotta get back to that song. But so in the different segments of time, it's been different expectations, and everything has been different. And that is why we have to learn how to not be so judgmental. Like they've just created so much judgment in our society, and people have become so like right now it's coming to the surface. And so he is very not polite. He's very, what is that, not PC or whatever. He's very offensive. He's always been offensive. He'd always say things that were like offensive. He was, now I'm thinking, like, I haven't gone back and listened to all his music, but I remember him saying, like, he was kind of like, seemed like he was homophobic or something. But now I'm thinking, like, well, he was probably speaking to people like Diddy. He was probably telling them, fuck off. I think he was calling out some stuff. Like, it's so weird how you get a different perspective. Like, at the time, it seemed like he was one way, but then it seemed like, oh, he was probably more speaking directly, like, also what Donald does. And that was a big thing, like, you also wake up to, is, like, you see, like, oh, he's speaking specifically to bad people. Like, and then the news goes, oh, my God, can you believe how he talks? Can you believe this? Can you believe that? Well, when you get to where you get to, like, if I got on the stage, oh, you bet your ass I'm gonna say some shit. And so, anyways, this, so what we have going on is this younger generation is freaking out over what he's saying. They want him canceled. Well, look at then who is, like, why is it that we can't say Merry Christmas? Why is it we can't say this? Why is it we can't say that? Because somebody's always being offended. What do we have going on with them shutting people like me down with our First Amendment rights through their manipulation, through their social medias and stuff? But it is this constant attack on our rights to be able to speak our truth and be real and be ourselves. And so this generation who thinks that they are so ahead of everything, you know, they are the leaders or something, it's really revealing that they are, you know, against having rights, that you shouldn't be able to say how you feel, it's going to hurt their feelings, like all of that kind of stuff. Where when it very first it all started, I just remember it starting, well, I remember it starting first with retarded. I thought that was retarded. When they started telling us we couldn't say retarded anymore because how some people were using it. It's like, is this a Tylenol scare or something? Because this is some bullshit. Like, you know, if there's some bullies going around and using words inappropriately, like, so we all have to say, put away that word because there's other people who aren't using it right. It's like, because our teachers used it. Like, you could watch old movies and stuff. It's said all the time. It was like a part of our language. It was, and it meant slow. It was like, if that's retarded, it's slow. So, you know, it was just retarded. And it's totally, totally different how it was back then. And then all of a sudden they told us, you know, you couldn't use it. And then if you said it, you'd get attacked. And, oh my God, you can't say that. You got to say developmentally delayed or whatever. It's like, well, I wasn't going around calling people who had disabilities retarded. So I'm telling my kids, if they were doing something, you know, that I thought was stupid, I would tell them, are you retarded? Like, are you slow? And, you know, saying, are you slow? Is that not as offensive? Like, so I don't know. It's just way different, you know, when you are raised at a certain time where everybody's saying it. And then all of a sudden they start saying, well, you know, yeah, it's just because you guys were so stupid. Y'all just didn't know, you know, you shouldn't say all these words. Well, sure, there's a lot of fucking words that are introduced into our society we're not supposed to fucking say. Then I remember the other big one was when they came in on the Merry Christmas. And all of a sudden you couldn't say Merry Christmas. Everybody had to say Happy Holidays because someone was offended that somebody said Merry Christmas one time or something. I was like, this is retarded. Like, what? Where are we going with this? Like, so now you're going to tell us how we have to talk. And then you're going to have all the fucking neighborhood bullies come out, you know, with their fucking BB guns, like, you criminal. So it's like, this is some bullshit. Like, but you have to have, like, a further perspective. Like, I'm no shame on these kids. They haven't, you know, they're the motor. They're the motors getting us going. You know, however they did it, you know, they introduced these things, they see how we work, and then they go in hard. And so, you know, the different generations, there's always testing. So everybody, you know, allowed this or that. I was pretty firm on the retarded. Like, no matter how many times people would tell me, like, you can't say that. I'd be like, that's stupid. Like, I'm not going around calling people, you know, go up to somebody with Down syndrome and say, well, you're retarded. Like, that, I mean, that would be like, well, you're slow. Like, that is how I was taught. And why would I go up to somebody and be rude and say something like that? Like, I don't know. I've always thought that was the weirdest fucking thing when they did that. But, you know, you had to live through some of this stuff. Like, some people don't know what it is, but you can't get gas except for on a certain day, and you have to wait in long lines. Some people don't even know when it used to be all the manufacturing was here and how it was different. People don't even know how it used to be when you used to get real food. Like, there's so many things that have just become so accepted and so much a part of our life But to those of us who had different, then it's like, what the fuck? Just like on the shows and the movies. Like, I'm telling you, I can't even fucking handle. Like, when I'm watching all these old movies, like, I see, oh, fucking, but we were goddamn, the programming is insane. But at least it's looking back. When I'm watching newer movies, I just can't even. And besides all the fucking sex and violence, then it just goes so extreme, so extreme. It's like what is the story? So this guy's gonna go over there, kill this guy, then he's gonna run over, fuck this person. And after that, he fucks this one, then he's gonna go over and murder that one. And it's like, okay, this is, and then jump scares. You know, they don't. There's no like. There isn't enough depth to the stories. You know, there's not enough. I think that's why I always like Lifetime movies, is because, you know, it was real people's tragic stories and stuff, and I've always seen it as like these souls, you know, what they're going, and then you know, when they do these horrible things to each other, you know, I'm trying to think about like what happened in their past life and how did they get here and who are they with and all this stuff, and you know, I just look at it different. And so anyways, but we all have different things that, you know, we enjoy or look at or whatever. And there's so much of this, this was somebody saying, oh yeah, this was a thing saying, hold on a sec. That things Americans don't want to hear. I got some of that powder in my throat. Now it's getting itchy. Hold on. Sometimes too, when I make these teas in the morning, I'll be stirring it and I'll think, this smells like a baby dirty diaper or something. Ugh, I can't believe I'm drinking this. And I'll be like, okay, don't think about what it smells like. It's good for you. It is good for you. And it doesn't just smell like a dirty diaper, but always when I very first start in the morning, it's just like, oh, every time. So, okay, let me think. Man, it's even harder to take a deep breath when your chest is so congested. Man. But the fucking, and it's like this crazy rain too, because it will, it's like I don't know, torrential downpours or something. It's not like, I must be, I don't know how it, because it's not like coming down like that, but it's coming down fast enough that my whole yard fills up with water. And then so that'll go for an hour or 2 hours of this, fill up the yard with water. And then it'll kind of go to like a sprinkle or a drizzle. And then the water will start kind of seeping into the ground. But the ground is so spongy and wet. Like the ground is, I don't think the ground ever dries, but somehow it just keeps going somewhere. Going somewhere where we should be able to motherfucking drink it. But there's so much poison in that water. There's poison in fucking every bit of water that they can get their goddamn hands on. That's all they want to fucking do is keep us sick. Because, you know, a lot of people feel like this because they got a headache too. And then they're like, oh my God, I'm sick. I mean, sneezing my head off. Then they, you know, who do they turn to? Those motherfuckers. Turn to Dr. Frankenstein. So the, let me think what else I was saying. The guy, let me think. Did I finish saying about that guy? Like, I can kind of see, but what was he doing? What was the video about? Hold on. Man, I can't see it at all. Oh yeah, I wanted to still talk about that. Okay, so if there was something I didn't finish about that, then I guess I'll come back to it. But even though I know I'm dropping things off all the time, because I'll get flashes of it in the daytime, and I'm like, I should remember to say that. And it's like, well, it probably doesn't matter. And some of the things I've talked about a long while ago, and then I don't finish it currently. But anyways, this got me yesterday. So it was a video I saw, and it was someone singing, and I see so many that I almost went past it. And but I sat and listened for a second, and then her voice was so haunting. It was so good. And the words of the song, though, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. It hit me so hard with this song. And I was like crying. It's only like one verse. I don't even know if you hear the chorus, but because you only get this little snippet. And so she's got this, the whole thing is really, really good. I'll share it. But she's singing, she's singing about I was trying to say it without crying. It's so crazy how I'm so affected by this, because I'll tell you more about this story. So so then the story in the song, it's a girl who, boy shows up at school and is, I don't remember if he's a leather jacket or, he's like Rick James Dean, and she's only 16, but, she couldn't marry him fast enough. It just seemed like, the rocking character to go. And she wishes the preacher would have been able to see the future and know more. Man, I can't believe how this is affecting me so much. It's wacky, man. And that she was, she married him, and she wishes she would have known, and he, it was, he was abusive, and I'll just share the song with you so you can read it for yourself. But anyways, when I was like, oh my God, this is my mom's story. And even her saying that she married the devil, and the girl says it in the song, because my mom would always say that she married the devil. And she was 16, and he was standing out in front of the school, and he was James Dean. That's the look that got her. And then she, her future was bleak. She was having to run and hide from the 6'2" guy, and it was just like, and she's more petite, and my dad was definitely violent. Like when he had thrown that chair at her to try and hit her that time when we were out in the pool, and he was on the other side, like, of our swimming pool. So he was down at the other end of the swimming pool, and us kids were in the pool, and then my mom just walked away, and she was going, so she was at the other end of the pool, and I was in the deep end. So he threw that chair, and it didn't hit her, it hit me, and broke my nose, and whatever, it gave me this scar here, and broke my nose and stuff. And that was a long fucking throw. And so anyways, he was definitely violent. Like, I saw my dad be violent a lot. And I did see my mom run and hide. I would see my mom hiding in bushes out front. And so, that story with my stepmom, with them holding guns on each other, if she would have come out of behind that chair, she would have probably ended up gone. One of them probably would have, because they were both always drunk, but there was definitely, it was no joke with these people. And so but this song, like, I was bawling and bawling and bawling, and I kept listening to it and listening to it. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so affected by this. It was like I felt this huge wave of empathy towards my mom, and seeing her as this little 16-year-old girl, all, awestruck over this handsome boy wanting to talk to her and take her out. And, and he was out in front of his cool ass car, just like how in the song, only my dad's was a 57 Chevy, and this guy's was some other kind of car. Can't remember what it was called. So anyways, but the story was so much like my mom's story. And I had sent her the video. I was like, I gotta send her this. You know, maybe this will help her. It'll help her see or purge out something before. But see, it didn't come to her. It came to me. And I was obviously the one who needed to purge it out. So I sent it to her. And this turned so fucking weird. I can't even tell you. So I sent her the TikTok. She sends me back this message and says it won't play. And so and I was like, weird. Okay, well, I'll try and do a screen record of it and I'll send it to you. So I did a screen record and it took forever to download it. And then it wouldn't even, I put it on my phone until it went to iCloud. And then, and I had time to go out and clear my photos, clear my iCloud, all while this is going. Just one little fucking, you know, 1.5 minutes video of a screen recording. It was weird. And so, so I do another one thinking, okay, something's wrong. And so then both of them says it's syncing my iCloud. It's like, what in the holy hell? Why are you going in? So I start clearing out all my photos and stuff. And I'm like, this is so fucking weird. And then I tried to do another one after I cleared the thing. And I thought maybe this one would go real quick and go onto my thing. Nope. And so finally, whenever it gets done, I send her that. And it won't send. It won't send, it won't send, it won't send. It just keeps, like, you know, when you're sending data and how the little thing, the little color thing will go across and it will take a long time, take a long time. Usually it'll just go zoop. No, taking a long time, taking a long time, taking a long time. I'm like, what the fuck? Then it gets to the end, starts over. I'm like, okay, maybe something's wrong with your phone. It's not accepting it or something. I'll try and send it by email. So I'm trying to send by email. No, it won't go. It just keeps starting over. I'm like, okay, so the devil does not want her to see this song. That's the thing. You know, and so I'm getting this, like, but now I'm already going. I'm already on this thing, even though I've already had the awareness now. This is not for her. It was for me. And so I sent it to my daughter to see if it was my phone, if that was my phone that was not sending right. So I sent the TikTok to my daughter and she got it. And like a couple minutes later, she sends me a message, oh my God, I'm crying or something, like, oh my God, that was, or I've got, no, she said, oh my God, I've got chills. I was like, I know, right? And she was like, oh my gosh, wow. And so I'm like, oh, I know, man. I've just been bawling. So feeling so emotional for my mom. Like, I don't even know how it's hitting me like this. And so my daughter's, well, I'll try and send it to her and see if it will go. And so my mom's still, you know, I'm trying to get the words, send her the words. I'm trying all these different things that I can think of to send her these songs because I want her to also hear the girl's voice and stuff. Because just reading it, you don't get the same impact, I thought. But anyway, so my mom finally gets it and stuff. And she's just like, what was the first thing she said? She said that was my life. And I said, I know, I've been crying about it all day. And she's like, don't cry about it. I got the things I wanted. I got my kids. And it's just so weird too, because I don't think she got to enjoy us. So like, she looks back on it, and that is what makes her feel like, well, you know, I gotta have my kids, but you know, that was not how it was back then. She just don't remember, and so she may have felt that way, but you know, whatever her tension, the stuff in her life was blocking her more from being able to be probably, I think it blocks them from who they want to be, you know. So but you know, she liked little tiny babies too. Like, she liked us when we were babies. It's when kids become, you know, older, they're a lot more challenging. So yeah, you can distance yourself. It all depends on how you deal with problems and how you deal with being overwhelmed. Really, being a parent is very overwhelming, and because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And you got shit happening all the time, and you just gotta like, well, okay, you know, you're just guessing all the time, and then people come back at you, well, you're real stupid, aren't you? I guess so. So, anyways, so then she said, you know, she got what she wanted, and so she was okay. And then she said, I guess I wasn't the only one who was living that life. And I said, no, I'm seeing there's a lot of people. You know, there's a lot of young girls back then who got together with abusive men. And there's a lot of us kids that are products of those relationships. And, but it didn't have any, I mean, maybe, you know, it's gotten into her mind now and she's thought about it more or something, but it had such a fucking impact on me. It was so weird. And I was like, okay, this has got to be something that I'm healing on, this empathy and judgment towards my mom that I didn't even realize, you know, because it felt like such a deep wound. And it felt so like, oh my God, I can't believe how deep I felt that. But I think that there is so much judgment that we carry towards our parents that we got to heal, you know, like we think that they should do this or do that. We don't, we've never walked in their shoes. Like when I really think about, you know, this young 16-year-old girl all caught up in, you know, just like when you think about 16 is so young. And she said something about like, 16 is young, because now I look at people who are 26 and I think they're kids. And I'm like, yeah, 16 is a kid. 16 is a teenager. Like, they're so young. And I said, and nowadays, a 16-year-old back then was like a 9-year-old now. Like, because 16-year-olds back then were innocent. There wasn't porn and stuff like that. People didn't know anything about that kind of stuff. It wasn't even talked about. The churches, you got to remember too, it was the churches that were building communities. There's so much pressure to be perfect on people. And that's why people start pretending to be perfect when they weren't perfect. And other people felt rejected by society and fell apart. Like it was like, but it all comes from like these colonizer missionary people, because that's how they send it out. That's how they would go. Probably because they could go into like that one video that I had shared about that tribe. So they could go into a place and where it was a tribe, and they didn't seem so it's like taking them over from the inside instead of coming and destroying it. It's like probably, you know, at some point they decided, well, we're going to start using these people as the workers of our towns. We'll start, you know, and even in the towns before, they would make them go out and work on farms and stuff, because there was still a lot of people making money off of agriculture and the different things that they could sell. And cotton would have been a big one, because all of our clothes weren't made out of plastic. They were made out of cotton. And so cotton would have been a huge industry. So those farmers, I'm sure, are making a lot of money. Is I don't even know, like, there was wool and silk. I think silk was more in the Orient, and wool would have been more probably in, you know, in Eastern European places, or some place where it was really cold. And cotton has been like all in all different places. But yeah, I've been sharing these videos that I found interesting about DNA, because I've been talking about this for so long, and about the tribes and where we all come from, and how they've gotten it down to be like, well, you're just a white person. It's like, and some of us are just lab created white people anyway. So, but it's all part of their thing. But when you go back into this DNA, it's all to these different tribes and stuff. And a lot of stuff like comes from the Caribbean too. And so like the cotton, all the clothes there, like I think they wear a lot of cotton, or they did, because of flowy clothes in the heat and stuff. And then I think, but men's pants were made out of wool. So there was sheep farmers, and I think men's suits, because they wore suits. And then there would have been cattle farmers, and then food farmers, but it wouldn't have been like this same kind of thing with the food farmers. Like it was a way more, I think, of most people grew their own food. It was like not like you if you grew enough food, you could take it into, like, there would be like these little markets, like a little apothecary kind of little place in the stores, and in their little towns and stuff, when they started developing little towns. So, you could go up and sell some, but a lot of places, it was just the towns just kind of developed, and it would only be like, like when they were doing the railway and stuff, they took a bunch of slaves. They have a ton of Japanese slaves. Like, how'd they get all those Japanese people to start doing that? Or is that even true in our history? Was it really all darker people that they were using to build the railways? Like, fuck. I don't know. It was definitely slave labor that they used. So those things would go through, and a town would get bigger. Like even in this one, when I was at the food bank that day, and that guy, that really old man, was saying this used to be 30,000 people, and it used to be on the train, and there was all these people. I was like, I was shocked. I was like, where's all the houses and stuff? But when you go walking back in the forest and you see these little old roads going all over the place, and you look back in the forest, it's like all these old houses are in the forest. They're all, our history is all it's all in the forest. It just is constantly getting buried. It's like the buried treasure. It's like where we have to become aware of it and start looking for our history, which so many people are. That's a big thing of so much about our history, our hidden history, the lies in our history. And people keep trying to put it all together. But to me, it isn't like a linear kind of thing. It is more of segments and realities and realms and stuff. It's like, it's weird. It's almost like if you were going through an album of postcards, and you could just go into that postcard like a portal, and you would be in that reality. And that and that is like how all of our things are. But it is that they have got us all kind of out, so then there has to be a way to join all these different realities. And so, and that is part of their, I swear to God, the shit on the flying and stuff like that, it's all fucking fake ass shit. Like, I know they're really going up in the sky and flying around and stuff like that, but their flight pattern, like they have to follow like highways up there. Like, there's certain ways that they have to follow, and it's all on these machines and stuff, where they have to be do what, I don't know how to read their things or whatever, but all of their little things keeps them on those little highways and stuff. And that's why there's so much about flying times and stuff, so people aren't crashing into, but they're not just all up there just flying all over the place. No, there's certain like trails that they have to go through in the sky. And so many of these things, which I find interesting, so many of these sky anomaly things that keep happening, which it keeps looking like giant fucking jellyfish and shit up, and squids and stuff in the sky. But also, how many things look like they're moving through water? Everything looks like they're moving through water. It is like, that is probably the density to their vibration, but to us, we're in that vibration. So we think that it's like air, but there is like, there's everything is like this plasma and density on the vibration, how fast it moves. So anyways, I think it is the waters above us. I don't think that those things are traveling above the firmament. I think that the waters above us. It could be that they keep showing like those rockets, and they can't get out of the firmament, and all this water splashes out when they do that. So it's like there's water, if that, okay. So if you have a, so if you took a plane board, a plane, and then not an airplane, like a flat plane, and then you put a dome over it, then it would begin to create moisture, and the moisture would drip. Maybe that's why we get rain, is the dripping of the moisture. And oh, so as the vibration changes, the water is like becomes heavier or something. It's got to be why the water is going to raise. There's going to be a bunch of water. Like how it keeps raining and raining and raining. It's got to be getting us just prepared. And there was another tsunami warning somewhere. There was another earthquake. Like there keeps being stuff going on all around the, in all these different realities around us. And so if it is that, so if there's like a dome and then it builds up, and then, that's where we get rain and stuff. But there's this firmament, it's by a vibration. You would think of it like in our bodies as like a fiber connecting tissue or something. It's like, it's strong, but it's all by vibration, just like weird vibration. If our vibration changes, we'll change. That's weird. Like it is. Like as your vibration changes, because I think that has to do with like this getting younger and stuff too, is this changing vibration. And so that's going to start happening for everybody. Everybody's going to start, because they're all going to start raising their vibration and feeling better. So they're going to all start getting younger. And because it has so much to do with raising your vibration and healing mind, body, spirit, like I was talking about, and getting all that dark energy that has been a part of you off of you. And so but so then outside, like I've always said, that think of it as more of, we are a bubble in the ocean, and we're a bubble of an opportunity to experience everything inside this bubble. And inside this bubble, it changes all the time. But it seems like to me that the bubble is going to pop. And that is why everything is going to open up to us. But that's why you have all this time right now, is to prepare yourself. It's like this is like we're all spacemen. We're all astronauts at this point. And we're all in preparation to get ready for this big thing that's going to happen. Because it is like this changing. I keep thinking things about breathing things, and not like we're not gonna be able to breathe when the water comes in, but maybe that is the lower vibration won't be able to, because the vibration to them would be like that they're drowning. But when you're in a higher vibration, you wouldn't be feeling it as drowning, because it wouldn't be the same to you. So, that could be. But whatever the water on the firmament, if it is more compressing or something, and so it's like showing us when you're watching the sky stuff that there's, like, I see that there's water up there. And there's this weird footage too, which I'm sure this was probably like a flood thing, and the water came up, went over the highway, and then the water receded. And it may have happened that way, it may not have, but it was like a certain area, and it was just filled with fish. Thousands and thousands of fish on this land. They couldn't get off of it. So they're all going to die out there. It looked like they were on a road. So that's what I'm saying. It's probably like where the water's on each side, and then it raised up. all these fish went on the road, then the water receded, and the fish didn't go with it. But all those things, like, because everything is, like those fish, which a big amount of things too can be one soul, like one soul could be a school of fish. And so this was more than a school, I would say. This was a lot, like, fuck, this water, it had a lot of fish in it. And but all the different things want to leave and come back, is something different. And I just saw this other footage where they're saying that there's this place, a jungle or something that they found, and all these animals, which I didn't finish that the other day. Of when you see some of these videos of animals in different places, it's like these are such different creatures. Then I don't see how we can't see, like, this is all different realities and stuff. But the in this forest, all these animals are like this white color, but they're iridescent. And not only are they iridescent, but it's like they like pulse out colors and stuff. Like, there's all these weird things about this color thing. And I was like, I bet you this is going to be like what the animals are going to be like. Like, this is already like an area maybe that's becoming like this 5D thing or whatever, where it's changing. It's going to be in vibration. And don't forget, there's like pockets of vibration, because that's the portal system. And it's not like a portal system like, the universe put in a portal system. No, it's how vibration, it's not all the same. Like, there's still areas where there's lapses or something, where there's open areas of vibration. And that is, I think, what we're going to start traveling through. And that, and I keep seeing all these videos. There are so many videos where they keep showing about portals. Even that there's supposed to be this portal video thing in New York and Ireland. And it's like a portal. So you can stand out in front of it, and all the people in Ireland are standing out in front of theirs waving, and all the people in New York are standing on their side waving. The other day they opened it, and they pushed all of these leprechauns, not real leprechauns, but all these pretend leprechauns through. And they came through the portal. And I think that is got to be like preparing our minds to be able to be like, we're going to be moved through portals. And I saw another video where a guy was, it shows him like a portal in the street. Like, you can see the light thing. And he comes out of it, closes his portal, and then takes his bags and just walks off. I was like, that is what we're going to start having more. I don't know how it all works, but I swear it's because this way that we travel, like I said, like this flying around and driving around and stuff, it's all for their fun. They probably already travel around in portals and stuff. Well, we know that they were already traveling around in like tunnels and underground and creepy, but and then they have these, their trains that they go from New York to Japan in 1 minute. Then it's got to be going through portals and stuff. And plus, I don't think that we're so far away from each other. I think it is way more of, like, I don't even know that you could really lay it all out flat. Like, I just think things are so different than how they get us to try and get our minds to see it. Because in my inside mind, I see it way different than how they try and get us to see it. And so I don't think it's like so 3D like what they try and get us to think of, and travel and drive and fly and go by train and stuff. And that's weird too. It's like, even when they were starting the train thing, it was like they didn't know where they were going. They had stagecoaches and horses and stuff, but remember, like, they weren't flying around. Even though, you go back to really old pictures and there's all this stuff about spaceships and stuff. But in the Western times, when America was supposedly getting found or what is that called? Where they were building America up. It's so weird, man, because there was so much stuff and they burned down so many big cities. They built on top of things. There's like, I was like, there was stuff here. And I don't know if they killed some of the people, because it's weird when you think about like some of those places. And this is the thing with the realities and realms, see? It is, you know, in like Chicago or something, and they had all of this, these big elaborate cities that they are saying, you know, that it seems like they're built like in Roman times or something. And then, you know, so if those have been there since Roman times or something, then, you know, there's definitely tribes living at that time, because that is a part of when the people came over here to start, you know, discovering America, that they discovered a whole bunch of tribes and started taking them as their slaves and, you know, taking them over just like what they do all the time. They take their land, they take, make them work for them, take control. And when they come in as not so aggressive. They come in with these missionaries and stuff. And so a lot of towns and stuff were all built, you know, around the church. Like how many times, like I started noticing when I was a little kid, like, God dang, there's a lot of churches. Like, what the hell with the churches? And everywhere I would go, it'd be like, oh my God, there's like a church on every corner. I was like, that is weird. And so, you know, I was always their church, because, I mean, their thing was the church, because look how much they could control people. And look how much they could control people through fear. And so all that is going to be coming out, you know. That's what's going to be so hard for religious people. But the religious people have got to remember, you know, when it's not this God or your spirit, that's real. Like, yeah, you were connecting to something that was real. You were connecting to a spiritual world and your spirit and stuff. Well, a lot of people even were keeping it distant. Like, I believe in God, but don't look that way because it might be the devil. You know, they were all scared still. But the more you connected inside yourself, you were connecting to something that was real. It's religion. It's the other parts, the controlling part that's not real. You know, there really is a soul, and there really is a better place than this and that. But the way that they can control people is through their book and stuff, because it was even with their commandments. Like, you'd have to match the commandments up to the laws of the universe. Because the laws of the universe is more like every action has a reaction. You know, it's more like the science part of it. It's like, you know, there's certain things you can't do without, you know, like you can't have one side of something without the other side. So, and so it's more like that. But I think some of their stuff in their commandments was something with control, trying to control us. Even though, like they say, thou shalt not kill. But, you know, like, because they say it in the book, they got people who don't kill because God said thou shalt not kill, but you got to feel it inside you. And you feel it inside you because you've killed some people, and you've been killed by some people, and you learned it. And so when I see people who are so held on to this God character, that makes me think like they've got things to learn or remember. They haven't learned it yet, or they're here learning it now, or they're just remembering. Like, it can be a bunch of different things. So, you know, there's no reason for us to think that we know best, or they've got to do it the way we think. And, you know, everybody's on their own. Everybody's on their own. Like, yeah, that is true. You're born alone, you die alone. You're on your own. And the more that you know, enjoy being alive and enjoy the time. Oh yeah, one of those Anthony Hopkins things that he says is, you know, you can always replace money, but you can't replace time. So you should not, you know, just hold on to your money and not go out and enjoy doing things, because then you know, you're holding yourself back. You're losing time with people, and that is the enjoyment part of life. But see, that is where they do have people that don't go out and enjoy their life. And right now, it's so much to the surface. So many people are starting to realize, like, fuck, I don't even have time to even sit with my family. And people are starting to recognize how it affects their mood. It makes them mad. It makes them angry. It makes them feel empty. So there's all these things coming to the surface that people are realizing that these are all the things that make the changes in our world. So it's, you know, beneficial, but it's hard to experience and to reevaluate and look at things and to feel things on a deep level, especially when there's so many people who have been in fear of feeling. They don't want to feel anything. And like I was, because on that video where it showed, you know, these people on this boat, and he was saying, you know, so what if you spend $1,000 on a vacation? You know, money will always come back to you, but time never will. And anyways, it just shows all these people having fun on a boat, and this guy walking, and he's carrying a beer. And it just hit me all of a sudden where I was like, man, how many people don't know how to have fun without being drunk or something, without being on something? Like, they don't know how to just go out and have fun and be themselves and be silly. Like, they need some crutch. And it's like, man, people are missing. If you've never gone out and had a good time sober, you got to challenge yourself and start trying to work towards it. Because, yeah, you can have a really good time, and then you don't have a regret. You don't have to deal with regret, but you got to get comfortable, you know, with yourself to be able to go out and be yourself without masking somehow. But it's worth it. Like, because there is so much, you can have so much fun. You don't have to be drunk to have fun. That's something that they've pushed in movies and stuff like that. But you can go out and be sober. And if you want to have fancy drinks, you can have fancy drinks without them having alcohol. You can still, like, you know, get infused water, get some kind of fruity kind of teas and stuff. Like, there's all sorts of drinks you can get without having alcohol. So even if everybody is sitting there drinking and you're like, well, you know, I'm gonna have something to drink, you know, you can order drinks, you can get drinks, you just can get them without alcohol. And I like this place where I used to go dancing all the time. They had a big water thing in 2 different places. I mean, I had 3 different places, but there was one in the front and one in the back, and little cups, and you just go get water all night long at these little water things. And so I just drink water and then dance, and then go drink water and dance. But, you know, you got to do whatever, you know, feels right to you. But I know, man, it just hit me like, man, there's so many people who have never had a good time sober, and how much you're missing out. And but then, you know, no judgment. You know, I know it's uncomfortable to do things like that and show yourself and try and have fun, especially when it's been so pushed. But, you know, I would definitely say challenge yourself. You know, go out, even if it's like, you know, you bring something to drink, try and push yourself through some part of it, like the first part, see how long you can make it. You know, but especially, you know, things that become habitual. So people get together. We had the same thing, you know, my family and stuff. Ever get together, have barbecues, and a lot of times we'd make like margaritas or something, you know. So I know everybody gets into like certain habits and stuff, but yeah, it is important, I think, to learn how to have a good time yourself without any other kind of interference, without drugs or alcohol. Is that is a part of yourself that you're hiding, you're keeping safe away, because it's very vulnerable, you know, to go out and show yourself, to have a good time, to laugh, even if nobody else is laughing, to dance, even if nobody else is dancing. You know, those things make, you know, especially when people have high anxiety and feel like everybody's watching them and feel judged by everybody. But all those feelings of judgment and stuff like that is coming from inside of you. You're the one judging, just like all this is being revealed. Like these kids who are, you know, want to cancel Slim Shady, you know, have to realize like, fuck, dude, like, why can't this guy say what the fuck he wants? Why does it offend you? So he's got to shut up. And so they're going to, you know, have to start recognizing in themselves, like, you know, they're part of the containment. They want us to all, you know, watch what we say. And there's just a lot of stuff coming out with the whole thing, like more stuff with, the division with the men and women, with the generations, way tons of stuff. Like, I think the barriers between colors, that's dissolving. I mean, some people are still holding on to it still, but I think that that is dissolving a lot. The gender one seems still pretty intense with the division. Like, so many women are very judgmental of men, and I don't know. We just got to watch how it all plays out. But, and then you have these different generations are all very judgmental of each other. So all these lines have to be shaved away. You know, we have to take the black and white and make it gray. So we all have to do our part and start looking at things differently for ourselves. Like, if you have someone who is a different generation, a different gender or whatever, and there's a lot of tension, it's best to work through that because it will ripple out. So, you know, all the different things that you can, you know, even if it's in a grocery store line, you know, and normally if an old person's standing in front of you, it just annoys you. But instead, you know, hey, how you doing? How's your day going? You know, be friendly and see, you know, that's how we start shaving away all of this division, is just little things like that. Because then all of a sudden she's relaxed, and then she's like, oh, I just had the sweetest young boy talking to me today. And so it's where the lines, you know, start going away because we start taking them down, each of us. We can't sit and wait for somebody else. Don't sit there in the line and think, oh, yeah, well, lady, she's not talking to me, so I'm not going to talk to her. Fuck her, you know. And especially like a younger person, if you see an older person like that, you can figure a lot of older people don't live, they don't have anyone around, they are lonely. It drives my kids crazy is when they'll come around and I'm just chatter and it's like, sorry, I don't have anybody to talk to. I'm just like, I've got a lot of stuff to say. Well, I talk to you guys, so I do talk to you guys now. Things are, you know, I mean, there's shifts in those kinds of things, but yeah, but you can, you know, figure that an older person who probably lives by themselves will enjoy somebody being like, hi, how are you? You know, pulling them out of their shell a little bit. So, you know, take the initiative, you know, say hi to people who you would normally say hi to. And just, you know, put on a happy face, smile, be friendly. And everything is going to keep going in that direction. Like, we're going to keep blurring. The black and white is going to become gray everywhere, and you know, all this black dark energy is just going to keep going away because people are going to keep letting it go and recognizing, listening to themselves, hearing themselves for the first time. And so, you know, we're in a period of time of healing. But yeah, the the part with the big awakening thing, that's going to be at the pole shift. So like, where all these people keep being like, oh, these stupid people aren't awake. We aren't even to that part yet. And the thing is all these people who are super judgmental about it, that's what they're going to wake up to. When the lights come on, they're going to wake up to their own judgment, their unjudgmental side. So they're going to still get a smack down by themselves. They're not going to just be sitting there in their arrogance. If you haven't, you know, been working towards the gray, and you still are in any kind of divisive state of mind, then it will be highlighted to you when the pole shift happens. But it's not as a punishment. It's so that you can recognize, so you can heal it. So you can look at it and try and go deeper and let it go. So anyways, now, oh my gosh, I've been talking an hour and a half. Okay, well, let's see if there's anything else. I don't think so. And now it's almost 5:30. So I guess that's all I was going to say. So just remember to love yourself, to love everyone, and have a loving day. This is up to you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.